Welcome back, my students. I'm Ellie at EnglishFunZone.com, and today we're going to be talking about DIY projects. So let's get started. Woo! When I moved in here, everything was more or less white or green in this kitchen. This is one shade of green, and this is another shade of green. Well, it's great for shooting videos against because this kind of automatically turns into a green screen. But it's time to change all of that. So last week I told you I was taking down the cupboard doors and getting ready to do this DIY project. And that got me thinking about how you could talk about your DIY projects. I should also mention that this is not a how-to video. I'm not teaching you how to do these things. I'm just telling you the process. So you can talk about painting a room in your house and maybe some things that you do when you do a DIY project. So we're going to be looking at sentences, vocabulary, and things that you can say when talking about your DIY projects.
I love DIY projects. I repainted this dark hallway and took away those ugly rugs that my sweet dogs loved. Now my hallway walls are brighter with these soft colors. I also replaced those ugly rugs with a long carpet runner. And did you notice that dresser with the black top? Well, I painted that too. Just look at the difference. I also took a suitcase and revamped it, turning it into a coffee table. This was just a poster, but with a few splashes of paint, some glue, and a large canvas, it's a fancy painting. Well, I could have hung it on the wall just like that, but instead I took it a step further and transformed it using a piece of adhesive shelf paper and screwing in a couple of hinges to the back. Ta-da! I turned it into a magic table. And this bench is almost 100 years old. Now, I couldn't restore it to its natural splendor, so I refurbished it. All that was needed was a bit of sanding, some paint, and a new cushion. But now that I'm repainting the kitchen, I'm going to have to repeat this process again. Let's practice. Here are some vocabulary words and sentences. Repainting, repainted. I'm repainting my hallway. This means I'm in the process of doing it now. I repainted my hallway. This means it's finished. Now you can say this with anything that you're repainting. Your bike, a piece of furniture, the outside of your house, or any room in your home. Here's another one. Repurposing, repurposed. I'm repurposing an old suitcase and turning it into a coffee table. I repurposed an old suitcase and turned it into a coffee table. Repurposing is when you change the purpose of the item. This used to be a suitcase, but it's not going to be a suitcase ever again. The latches are broke, and there are 4 long screws holding those legs in. Let's try this one. Transforming, transformed. I'm transforming a poster into a magic table. I transformed this poster into a magic table. Transforming something is similar to revamping. It means to change the appearance, whereas revamp means to improve the structure or appearance. I wouldn't use repurposing because it's a poster and it's being used as a poster. I've added a few things and transformed it. Here's another one. Refurbishing, refurbished. I'm refurbishing my kitchen bench. I refurbished my kitchen bench. Refurbish means to make it look new again. These sentences are fine if you're talking about what you're doing. You can take out the items and replace them with whatever it is you're working on. But what if you want to talk about something someone else is doing, like one of your parents, a sibling, or a friend? Let's try it. My dad is repainting his garage floor. Lisa is revamping her grandmother's old chair. Mike's brother repurposed one of my old dresser drawers into a dog bed for my dog. We transformed our attic into a guest bedroom. Some of you may want to know what I'm using in my DIY project. I bought spackle. I bought masking tape. There are two types of masking tape: the blue masking tape and the regular masking tape. They both do the same thing. I use the regular masking tape because it's cheaper. And this is drywall tape. Now let's see how I'm doing on my DIY. Before I start painting, I have to fill in these holes that I made when I hung up pictures. I also removed this molding, or this piece of wood. It was connecting the wall and the cupboard, leaving a gap about this big. There was a gap here. I filled it with some spackle and I put on drywall tape. Then I put on some more spackle. Today I'm going to sand it down and add one more coat of spackle to really smooth out that gap. Before I start sanding, I'm going to be using some safety equipment. I'm going to use a mask and a pair of safety goggles. Now I'm ready to use my sander. I've finished sanding down this wall. I'm going to add a little more spackle to this gap, and then I'll let that dry, sand it, and then I'll be ready to paint. I'm also going to paint my ceiling. As you can see, I've taped off the light. I did take down the shade, but that was all I was prepared to take off. There are a lot of wires up there, and, well, taping it was much easier for me to do. Do you see that bump on the ceiling? I'm supposed to be able to hang another light there, but it's not very strong. It's quite weak. And I would need a carpenter and an electrician to hang a light there. I've tucked in the wires as best I could and used some drywall tape to cover them up. And I've put some spackle over the drywall tape. Yes, there is a bump on the ceiling, but it looks a lot better than those two wires that were dangling from it. While this seam dries, that's where the gap was, but now we can call that a seam because the gap is gone. And while that is drying, I'm going to start painting, but I first have to put down a drop cloth. Well, my students, that's it for today. I'm exhausted. I still have a lot more to do on this DIY project. I have managed to fill all of the holes, sand them down, and I've painted the ceiling. But I can't do any more for today. I was supposed to announce the winner of the premium memberships, the one to Ling
app and the one to my website, the premium membership to my website. But nobody signed up. So what I want you to do is, if you want to win a free membership, a premium membership with all of the features to the Ling app and to my website, go to EnglishFunZone.com and fill out this form. And that will enter you into the drawing for the premium memberships. It's free. I love free things, don't you? So sign up today. Well, my students, thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, and all of that other fun stuff. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, keep practicing. Bye.